All right. It's the No Playbook podcast, and I got a very different episode for you today. So, for many years, I co-hosted an NFL draft podcast with an old friend, Richard Lawson. So, now that it's officially draft week, we thought, let's get the band back together, do a quick episode. Mock drafts, they're so much fun. So, for this episode, Richard and I just kind of blow through a quick first round mock for the 24 NFL draft. If it's your first time checking out this show, most of my episodes feature outstanding athletes, coaches, and experts from the sports community here in East Tennessee. Past episodes include Tony Vitello, Joshua Dobbs, Monica Abbott, Squirrel White, Seattle Seahawk Mclendon Curtis, Michigan football commit, Eli Owens, and later this week, another high school kid, Cade Batchelor from Maryville High School. He plays baseball and is committed to play at Belmont. The show is sponsored by D1 Training. I'll get to the mock draft right after this. Sit tight.
D1 is the place for the athlete. When you join the D1 team, you don't just go to a gym. You're part of a team, a family.
Family on three. 1, 2, 3. Family.
Something more than just a gym.
Here we go.
If you're looking for a place to get better, to improve, to strive for the goals that you have, then D1 might be the right place for you.
At the 15, okay? You are bringing it down.
Book your free one-on-one assessment today. Don't wait.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. D1.
Awesome.
So we can just jump right in.
Cool.
It's draft week.
It is draft week, my friend.
It is. It's an exciting time. It's like, what is it you say? It's time to leave milk and cookies out for Mel Kiper.
That's right. Yeah, you got to go sit on Mel's lap. Can't sit on Todd's anymore. He's no longer sittable.
Right.
Right.
That is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So,
what is he doing now? Is he still active?
yeah, he's doing stuff online. But he is not a part of the family. So I don't know.
Right.
It's really, I actually really like him and Todd, him and Mel together. So, but yeah, he's still active on there. But they've got whole young guns in now, and they're ready to go. But yeah, man, it's draft week. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's our Christmas. This is pretty exciting stuff. So
It is exciting, but admittedly, this year I've been, as you can imagine, a little less interested with my team
yes,
not having a first round pick, and not just first round pick, but we gave up the number 1 overall pick.
yeah.
I was actually
30-30.
thinking that 30-30 isn't bad. You're right, but it's too bad we didn't have a situation like with the Patriots a couple years ago where they had no pick. There's just 31 first round picks.
Yes,
That would have been cool.
I'll tell you what's worse. Let me tell you what's worse. Like, at least that you don't have a pick Thursday. So let's say you decide to trade into the bottom of the first. Like, it's a surprise, right? It's pretty exciting. So a few years ago, we traded out of the first, like right at the end of the night. So, you're excited all night. You're sitting there waiting. I think we were picking like 27 or 28 or something. And then boom, we're out. And then we're picking 33. And now I'm just like, you're all that excitement that you had built up all night. And so now you just spend the whole rest of your next day reading all of those like day 2 mock drafts.
Yeah.
So yeah. So at least that you're not picking, and you can prepare yourself if something exciting happens.
Yeah.
So,
I actually think the scenario that's happened with Carolina should be a specific, if they ever come up with a good feeder system to the NFL, that actually is a criteria that should lead you to relegation. You finish worst. If you finish worst in the league, you're supposed to have the first pick, and you have traded away your first for the next year. They should be like, you got to go.
you have not earned the right to be here. Like, yeah, like very Ted Lasso style. You spend the whole next season, building yourself back up.
Right.
Yeah.
Which Ted Lasso star do you think would be a good NFL draft commentator? It's probably Roy Kent, right?
Roy would be fantastic. Jamie would be interesting, but you couldn't understand anything he said. So
Right.
that way, like but that'd be great because he could just say a bunch of stuff about like offensive guard traits, and it would just kind of be a blur, and you would just see sitting there going like, he makes a good point.
But Nate is so analytical. Nate could probably hit the nail on the head.
I'm just worried about him on TV. He'd be a
True.
good like draft columnist. Like I would read his articles. but I would change the channel if he was on TV. I think that's the issue. He needs
Nate's the
someone
guy that's
pretty.
gonna
Yeah,
really
he
pick
needs
out
someone pretty
who
like
should
me
be.
and you on TV. We
Oh, of
have the
course.
face for TV,
Yeah.
and so yeah, but none of the knowledge.
Yeah. You think Nate could, if we're going to get into this mock draft, he could identify that QB one, even wide receiver one's going to be a tough one this year.
I think wide receiver one's tough. QB seems to be working itself out maybe a little at one, but
How about
from
QB two?
that point on, man, it's a mess. Like from two on
Yeah.
down, everyone's got a different opinion. Um, I, this is going to be a very fun draft. Like I really think so because there's a good chance like 1 through 6 could be very paint by numbers. We could have 3 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers, boom, boom, boom. But man, I don't know. The closer it gets, I'm starting to kind of, and that's how it always is every year. There's always the smoke and stuff, but the closer it gets, I think it could get a little crazy.
Yeah.
Like the
And I'll
Baker
tell you one
Mayfield
thing.
draft, that got a little
Oh,
nuts, right
yeah,
before.
yeah.
I think we could be maybe not at 1, but from 2 down, I think it could get a little nuts.
Right. And when having pick number 33, I do think a cool thing about that is they are essentially going to be on the clock like all night on Thursday just
Yes.
for trade opportunities.
Someone good will fall. Like that's always happens. You're going to have a lot of really good people there to choose from. And then you can decide, hey, if we've got like 3 or 4 people left on our board that we'd be really happy with, maybe you're a trade down option where you could trade down a few picks, pick up a couple extra that you've lost over the last few years, and still land a Lad McConkey or something like that.
Yeah, I think Carolina is definitely a potential trade down partner at 33. Wasn't Will Levis taken 33 last year?
If he wasn't 33, he was 34. I mean,
It was
he was
they traded up
it was
for him.
something like that. Yes. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Night 1 will be a lot of fun at the top, and then it'll work its way down.
Let's get into our mock draft that we've put together because we love to do them. A lot of folks like to do them. We did it. We included several trades. I think we should just hop right in, start talking about it, and see if we can get through all 33 first round picks.
Yes, all 33 new rules. Look, we talked about number 1 with Chicago. I mean, it's Caleb Williams. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this. We know he's going to be number 1. I think he's the quarterback that I have the least amount of questions with, but I still have him. I'm worried about some off the field stuff with him and some focus things. I think he's got insane talent. I will say that Chicago's doing a really good job of putting stuff around him. With DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, I think he's going to be walking into a pretty good situation.
Yeah, and with their second first round pick, I think that's going to be an interesting topic once we get to that pick.
Absolutely.
Because what do they decide? Do they go with a need or do they go with like a Brock Bowers or which could probably be on the board for that? So
yes.
But when it comes to 2, do you go Drake May, Jaden Daniels? How do you see that working out with the Commanders? We know they're going to go QB.
Yeah, I go Drake May. That's what I'm doing. If I'm the GM, I think they will probably go Jaden Daniels. There just seems to be a lot of stuff. Did you hear? They invited like 5 or 6 quarterbacks to their facility this past week, and so it was Daniels, it was May, it was Penix, it was Nix. They had all these guys there together, and the rumor is they all went to Top Golf. Have you heard this?
I don't think I have.
They took them all to Top Golf, and I'm just like what are they trying to get out of that? Like who could get competitive? Like I don't know. I just think it's really interesting, like that they got them like all together, and certain guys' attitudes could get a little bent out of shape with that. So I don't know what Washington's doing exactly. I feel like they're going to take Jaden Daniels, but he had a late meeting with Minnesota. I mean, does Washington have something in the deal with Minnesota and their 2 picks? Again, this could get a lot of fun at the top.
I think I've got a lot more questions when it comes to Jaden Daniels than I do Drake May.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I go Drake May 2, but I could totally see it end up actually being Daniels. And whichever it isn't, I think goes 3. I think the Patriots are going to take one of those top guys. So whomever doesn't go. So I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks.
I definitely think they go May at 3 if he's there. I do have a little bit of questions if for some reason Washington throws us the curveball. They go May at 2. I'm not positive they go Daniels at 3. Daniels is like, he's a really good runner, right? Like, dude's super fast, but I don't necessarily see him as this amazing scrambler. Like, Caleb Williams is a scrambler. You know, he runs around, he makes some amazing throws on the run. That's not really Daniel's thing. Like, he'll take off and run, but he's great in the pocket. And I don't see any Patriots receivers getting, the NFL calls it getting open. Okay. I don't know if they have any talent for their receivers to get open. And that's where I worry if Jaden Daniels goes there. But Drake May, I think, has the tools. If he's sitting there at 3, if I'm the Patriots, as tempting as Marvin Harrison Jr. is, I'm taking Drake May.
Well, in respect to a mock draft, as we're keeping this episode on the rails with that, I say it's QB 1, 2, 3, and then of course the Cardinals are going. Holy shnikes, we're at 4, and we've got Marvin Harrison Jr.
They don't think about this.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm going to get mad on draft night. Like, we're going to be texting each other because we're like, why are they taking 10 minutes to make this pick? Like, we know it's Marvin Harrison Jr. They've got to do this quick. Get your guy. He's the most consistent of these. He's had a great career. I love Neighbors, but he's a bit of a 1-year wonder. And so I'm going with the guy with the pedigree who's shown up. I mean, Ohio State might have a national title had he not gotten hurt against Georgia. So I think he's that good. So I'm taking him. And then I think with the Chargers at 5,
Won't you please, Malik Neighbors? I think he is an outstanding, I've heard plenty of talk trying to create some content, but Neighbors versus Harrison Jr. But I do think it's going to go like this. I think it's going to go 3 quarterbacks, at least 2 wide receivers, with the Chargers landing Neighbors.
So I think the Chargers, if they stay here, I think that's the key. Like, do they stay at 5? There's been a lot of rumors about the Chargers and the Vikings have it worked out, with this trade, with the Vikings moving up to get McCarthy. If I'm sitting there and I'm the Chargers, I really consider trading with the Vikings, because you could land a really good wide receiver later in the draft. Like, they could stay down there at 23 and maybe land Brian Thomas or Adonai Mitchell, and then you could grab a really good tackle right there sitting at 11. Like, you could have one of the really good tackles fall in your lap, and you're walking away with 2 really solid players. If they stay at 5, I feel like they need to take Neighbors, but Joe Alt would be tempting. I mean, he seems like he is he's definitely tackle number 1 for me. But I don't know. I know Harbaugh likes his big boys, but if I'm him, I'm not taking Alt at 5. I'm trading down and getting somebody a little later.
Yeah. I mean, I think Justin Herbert's got to have somebody. You lose Keenan Allen, you lose Mike Williams. I don't know if you saw the news. Antonio Gates is no longer there.
Is he not?
No, he's not. He's just
is
recently.
He not entering his 23rd year in the league? Like,
it could be more than that, I think.
He played a long time, man.
Yeah.
For a guy that never played football, and then said, I know I never really played it growing up that much. I'm just going to spend the rest of my life playing it. I think that's how it worked. They've got Quentin Johnson, who they drafted last year. He was he wasn't great. He could make a jump in year 2. They got our boy Josh Palmer still, right? They've got him, but they need somebody else. And Malik Neighbors, I mean, Herbert would absolutely love that pick. So I think he's your guy. And then what we talked about with receivers, right? 3 in a row. If you're the Giants and Rome Odunze sitting there at 6, I'm running up there. You can argue he's the most consistent of all 3 of these guys. I mean, he's really, really good. Really good. And I'm taking a guy like him. He would complement our boy Jalen Hyatt a little bit too. Hyatt's got that straight line speed. I think it'd be great.
And see, as we look at the draft order and the way we're going, like right now, it looks like you mentioned paint by numbers, like 3 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers. And then if that's the case, the Titans are going to run up there to get Joe Alt. So that just feels a little strange for the first 7 picks to be offense.
Yeah. Have you read any mock drafts that do not have Joe Alt going to the Titans?
I don't think so.
No, that's because they don't exist. There's no, they're not out there to find. Like, and it's going to be funny when it doesn't work out that way. But if he's there, the Titans have done a good job this offseason of plugging holes and not just like going crazy in free agency spending, but getting Ridley at receiver, Pollard at running back. You fill two holes right there. And then they got Cushenberry on the offensive line. You hope Soronsky takes those steps in year 2. You add Joe Alt. You're going to find out really quick, like, is Will Levis the guy for Tennessee? Like, no excuses in year 2 for him.
I think Joe Alt is the most complete offensive line prospect since Penei Sewell, for sure. He might even be more of a sure thing than Sewell.
Do you think that Brian Callahan is looking at the draft board like that night and he's like sitting there and maybe like someone else falls to him, right? Like, let's just say like Rome Odunze falls, do this some things or whatever. And he's like, oh man, like that'd be pretty sweet. And then his dad's in the room, Bill Callahan, and he's like, you're taking Joe Alt. Mm-hmm. He's like, but dad, I mean, son, you're taking Joe Alt. And he just kind of drops his head and he's like, okay. And he walks to the line. Like, I feel like that's fairly realistic.
Yeah. I'd like to imagine that Brian is the boss in that room, but we know that's not the case.
You're not. Yeah, no, you're wrong. Hey, Bill Callahan, he's not a great head coach, but I'd want him coaching my offensive line. I think Titans are going to look a lot different. They will be a sexy pick to like have kind of a big jump this year, I think, record wise, or they could be like 3-14. Like it's, that could happen as well. So
I don't think that's going to be the case unless they have some injuries.
Yeah. Honestly, with Ridley, with Hopkins, I don't know about Traylon Burks. Maybe he'll turn out, maybe he won't. But, you get Levis some protection. The guy can make some plays. And, with Spears and Pollard, I like what they're going to look like on offense this year. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
But just all of a sudden, the AFC South is it a good division?
Maybe. I'll believe it. Yeah. I'll believe it when I see it. It's one of those things. You've got to prove it, because on paper, young quarterbacks everywhere. Quarterbacks that are on rookie contracts. You've got all these really good free agents in other spots. All of a sudden, like Jacksonville looks like they're the ones that are stuck in the mud. When last year they were the ones that were going to run the division for a while. It's really weird.
Now,
this is where we have our first trade. Oh, go on.
Well, it is, but speaking of the trade, it makes me think about these rumors of Sean Payton wanting to trade up to early in the draft. How do you think that goes as the week progresses?
I think the hardest part for the Broncos to move up is going to be the Vikings, because the Broncos have, all right, well, we can give you 12 and then we can start looking at some of our second round. But I mean, I don't know they have a lot of draft picks to work with. They've given up so many over the years. Vikings made this deal with the Texans to do this. Like, I just can't imagine a world where the Vikings are staying at 11-23. Like, I just don't see that happening. I think Peyton gives it a go. I think he's going to have to mortgage the future to get his guy. And then who are you getting? Like, are you going to do that for McCarthy, or do you stay at 12 and take Bo Nix or Michael Penix, or even trade down a little and grab one of those guys? But see, even then, all right, if they're picking 12, you're the Broncos. Let's say you really do like Penix. I'm just throwing that out there. The Raiders have been linked to Michael Penix. They pick at 13. So how far can you really go? Quarterbacks always go higher. That's what I said. It's going to be fun. But I think the Broncos are going to try it. I think the Vikings are the team that's going to prevent them from doing it.
And then we've got the Bears coming up after that pick. So the Bears are on the clock again at 9. So it's like, do they reach for a Brock Bowers, or do they take the first defensive player? You've got a guy like even Byron Murphy from Texas. That's what I would like for them to take. In that pick. Defensive line is certainly a need for Chicago, but that could be interesting as well there at 9.
I've seen Murphy mock there. I've seen Dallas Turner, who I like, I don't love. So I would rather have Murphy. I'm telling you what, Johnny Newton from Illinois too. Like, it wouldn't shock me at all if he went top 10. I think when you watch his tape, like, the guy's an animal. He's smaller, but I think that would surprise some people. Montez Sweat was really good for Chicago last year. So I like the idea of doing something in the middle there. And Murphy, I think, would be a great pick. And that's who we have them going with at 9.
Yeah. Why is Jerzon shortened to Johnny?
I don't know.
Is that common? That's a common nickname?
It's the down Periscope quote I always do, where he says his name's Nitro, and he's working on a nickname. And the nickname is Mike. And so that's always they don't fit, but yeah, I love Johnny Newton. Big fan of Johnny Newton.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's outstanding. So we've got Byron Murphy going there. Then going back to the offense with the Jets on the board. They certainly need an offensive tackle.
Yep.
So Fautanu?
Yeah,
Fautanu?
Fatanu. So
out of Washington.
In this draft, we have Fashanu, and because Fashanu and then Fuaga, the guy from Oregon State. So that should not be allowed, like in any way. Like there's no chance anyone's getting all that right. Yeah, we have them taking Fatanu from Washington, and I could see him going here. I could also see Olufashanu from Penn State going there. Either one. I think they've got to get tackle help because one of those guys can probably come in and start day one, whether they're at tackle or whether they're at guard. The Jets have got to get like their best 5 on the field because their window is now. I think Bowers would be solid for them. You see him mocked there a lot, but again, and he can do some inline blocking, but you've got to keep Aaron Rodgers alive. And I'm grabbing one of these tackles again, either one of the F tackles. I'm grabbing them right here at 10.
And I think the Falcons then coming at 11 after they just
that's
traded
where we
back
had our
from
trade. Yep.
8. I think, as much as I hate the Atlanta Falcons, I think this is a great situation for them to trade back and still get a guy, on the board here is Dallas Turner, who they probably wanted at 8.
They would have gotten him at 8. They're going to get him at 11 and pick up, probably pick 23 as well. Or not 20. They got their pick later on. I think that they have a really good chance to turn things around this year with Jimmy Lake taking over their defense with Raheem Morris. As much as it pains me to say it, they've got talent in Atlanta, especially on offense. So get you an edge rusher. They could go cornerback here as well, but they've got some pretty good corners. They've just got some guys on some expiring contracts, but I'm not huge on Dallas Turner, but I think they might be. And it's a great spot for them to get him here and trade down.
Yeah. Well, if he's going to be a guy that busts, I certainly hope he goes to Atlanta.
There you go. That's all we want. That's really all we want. We're not asking for
much. Then if Denver's on the board and you see Brock Bowers, I think he's just such a guy that, he's got so much upside that would be a smart pick for them there.
I think that if you can't get your quarterback, go ahead and get Brock Bowers. I think this might seem kind of low for Bowers. I think it's just how it works out. I definitely don't think he goes past 15 to the Colts. I think that more than likely this is probably the lowest he goes, though. I think Bowers lands there. Rookie tight ends don't seem to do like these rookie first round tight ends never seem to pan out. It seems like all the really good tight ends in the NFL are these guys that are found later. I'm just having a really hard time thinking Brock Bowers isn't going to work out. He is
he's got all the tools. If he stays healthy, then absolutely. And then you mentioned the corners. There's so much talent on the board here. I think the guy from Iowa is kind of being underrated a little bit. But you've got Quinyon. Yeah. You've got Mitchell out of Toledo, Nate Wiggins from Clemson. A lot of good talent. I don't know that I love Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, but for this high, of course. But looking here with the Raiders, if they don't land one of those quarterbacks, I think going to the guy like Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo would certainly be fitting a need for them.
Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell, he had a huge Senior Bowl. He's super physical. I like him a lot. I'm much higher on him than I am Nate Wiggins from Clemson, just because I think Wiggins is really good in coverage. He's not a big tackler. He's really, really small. Like He's like, they say he's like 180 pounds. And I'm just sitting there thinking, and that's what the guide says. Like, there's a good chance he's not even that. So I worry about him holding up. But Quinny Mitchell, I think, would be a really good pick for the Raiders at 13, which is probably why they won't make that pick.
Because it's the smart one.
Yeah, because it's the right thing to do. I think they're like they're gonna either like trade up for Penix, or they're gonna take like the 5th offensive tackle on the board. Like, that's what the Raiders usually seem to do in the draft. So, as nice
Which is
as
the
this
fastest
looks,
guy in the draft.
yeah, also true.
So then looking at the New Orleans Saints, absolutely they got a need on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Olu Fashanu would certainly be a good spot here for
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Like I said, any of the F tackles, that's you grab one of them right here. It's a good tackle class. It really is. Like, if you need, especially if you're looking for like a right tackle, I think these are plug and play guys day one.
Right on. Where are we at? Now we're down to the Colts.
Colts at 15.
I mean, looking at a corner, I mean, I think right now is where they go with Arnold out of Alabama. They could go with Wiggins from Clemson. That's who we picked. But either way, I totally see them going corner.
I do too. Like, if it were me, like right off, I'm taking Terry and Arnold in this spot. I would even consider Cooper DeJean here. I'm pretty high on him. But I think Wiggins could easily slide in for the Colts. So my worry is about him holding up. That's my only thing. And then we look at our next pick at 16 with the Seahawks. J.C. Latham just seems like a Seattle Seahawk draft pick, doesn't he? Like, does he not just, like, he's a cookie cutter, like, Seahawks pick, really talented guy. He could end up being like maybe the best, like, he could end up being the best tackle in this draft, or he could flame out. He's a tricky one to evaluate. People are either, they seem to be, it's very yin and yang with him. People are either really high or really low. But he just seems like a future Seattle Seahawk.
Yeah, I like seeing them build that offensive line. A guy I'm buddies with, Curtis McClendon. He's a guard. He's was starting by the end of the year with Seattle. He grew up in Chattanooga, went to UTC. So he's a guy who's a UDFA, picked up by the Raiders, like, and the Seahawks got him last year. Exactly.
Yes. Same thing.
I don't think I'm going to get drafted this year. I've just kind of accepted it,
I've been waiting a long time, and I feel like, we're in our 40s. It's starting to get a little bleak. But I'm never going to fully hold out hope. I'm always going to believe that this is the year.
Yeah. I mean, I've been increasing my back squats.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So just doing whatever I can. I go to the gym. Those 2.5 pounders aren't going to lift themselves.
No, listen, you've been putting in the work, man.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. You got to put in that work.
Pick me up. Okay, so we've got Latham going, and then we've got probably the pick of the draft, should things fall like this. If Jacksonville's sitting there at 17 and Johnny Newton's on the board,
yes,
like that's when you like stub your toe because you're rushing so much to get up there and turn that card in.
You've just put in, you've got your long-term contract worked out with the other Josh Allen, right? You've got your stuff on the edge. Go get Newton, help that pass rush out. This would be a good pick. I don't know. I think that he just seems like a guy to me, though, that's going to go earlier. I don't know. Yeah. I think someone's going to fall in love with him and absolutely take him higher than most of the mocks think. So I'll be curious to see how that works. And then it's kind of the same thing, because now we're kind of getting these, some pass rushers with the Bengals at 18, Jared Verse falling to them at 18. I feel like they're kind of doing the same thing. Like they're getting up there quick to turn in their card. It seems like the Bengals eternally need offensive line help. Like, I feel like that's their thing every year to keep Joe Burrow alive. But Jared Verse here at 18 seems like it makes a lot of sense.
He's a guy that Trevor Sikkema is really high on.
Yes. Yeah.
Heard him talking about him quite a bit this offseason.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I say shout out to these guys like we know them really well and like we're helping plug their show. But listening to the NFL Stock Exchange with him and Connor Rogers, like, They just have a different approach to things. I love listening to their draft stuff. They're
What was
really
the other
entertaining.
show we used to listen to with Trevor and
Well, they had he
the
was
guy that got in
on,
trouble?
yeah, he was with John Ledyard. Um,
That's it.
and John Ledyard, I trust his draft analysis probably more than any human alive. I really do. Like that guy puts in a lot of work. And he is still doing a lot of stuff online. He actually covered the Bucks for a few years, um, which was really cool, and I really enjoyed that. So like, him and Trevor have both covered the Bucks, and now they've kind of gone on to bigger things. Another fun guy to listen to, Ben Solak over at the Ringer. So like he's
Good.
absolutely like, oh, he's so good, but he's like he looks 11 years old, um, but he is again analytically like he just knows his stuff. Like these guys are all like in their early to mid 30s, and they actually put in the work to do this stuff like full time. They're just really, really good at what they do. Um, and that's what's interesting here at 19, kind of segues in with the Rams. We have them taking Latu, the edge from Oregon.
By
They
the way, I just
love
got
Latu.
the notice that we just got 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. So we'll have to fly through here.
Yeah.
Latu at Oregon, it's all about the medicals. He's probably edge one with 100% healthy, but he medically retired from Washington. So that's a big deal. So a lot of
Right.
people are concerned about him. But how do you want to do these last few here?
Well, we can just kind of blow through them, and I think these next two that we've got on our draft, it's probably not going to happen like this. I just so you listed Graham Barton going to the
Yeah,
Steelers, which totally seems like a pick of theirs,
it
and
does.
I followed that
Wide
up
receiver.
with Jackson Powers Johnson,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
that's one
two
I don't think it's
guys.
going to
Yeah,
happen. I really like him.
I do
Um,
too.
it's rare that you find a really talented center um, that's available. That's also pretty versatile, and I
Hmm.
think he's a guy that if these guys are there, I think it's a smart move. I don't know that it's going to happen like that for the purpose of this draft. That's why we listed it.
Yeah.
And then
They can
Terry and
play
Arnold
both.
still on the board.
Yes. Yeah. The Arnold again falls to the Eagles, which would be a great pick for them. They definitely need to rebuild their corner room. Um, and then we've got Minnesota sitting at 23 right here, grabbing Brian Thomas Jr. Uh, the Cowboys at 24 taking Amarius Mims, another great tackle prospect. And then the Packers at 25 taking Fuaga, the tackle from Oregon State. So the
Another
the
F
Packers
tackle.
are interesting. Yeah, we know the Packers won't take a receiver. That is in the bylaws. Um, Cooper DeJean makes a lot of sense here too with the Packers. Another defensive player from Iowa makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. How pissed would Aaron Rodgers be somewhere if they did take a wide receiver?
They might do
Like
it
they
just to
finally
spite.
just were like, we're going to take Xavier Worthy here.
Yeah. And then they're interviewing Jordan Love after the draft. And he's like, I really just kind of told them, like, I really want a receiver in round one. And they were just really sweet. And
They said,
it's just
whatever you
really
want,
nice.
QB.
Yeah. We just have that kind of relationship. That would be a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
we've got 26. I have the Bucks taking Chop Robinson. I go
He's
back
so
and
good.
forth on him. I think he is going to be a better pro than he was a college player.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those situations. Who will get in the right defense be great. We've got Kool-Aid McKinstry going 27 to the Cardinals. Um, yeah, makes total sense. You come out of there with Harrison and Kool-Aid in the first round, not too shabby.
Yeah. And then looking here at the end of the first round, like it's amazing, really, some of the talent that we've still got. We've done mock drafts in the past where by the end we're kind of like just, I guess we'll pick this guy. And we're
Right.
looking at something, just trying to grab something crazy. And sitting here looking at some of this talent that we've got, and even early in the second round, there's a lot of good prospects
Yeah.
here on the board.
We've got Xavier Worthy going to the Bills. And just in terms of receivers, then we have Adonai Mitchell falling to the Chiefs at 32. Um, who do you like better, Worthy or Mitchell?
So it's funny. Mitchell is really, it seems to be undisciplined. When he really decides to play, he's pretty unstoppable. He is gonna
Mhm.
make big plays and he is so good. But there's been so many when you watch his video, not just the highlights, he takes plays off
Yes.
and that concerns me a little bit. But you see, when he does, there are plays. I watched one of the plays where he clearly is taking the play off, but
Mhm.
because of some scrambling, the quarterback still has to go to him, and he turned it into like a 20-yard gain. So he's
You
that
just
great.
described, yeah, you described every Chiefs wide receiver just then.
Yeah.
Like,
So
like
it's
I mean, that's pretty much all of them. They've got tons of talent, but they're off and on. Worthy scares me a little bit because is he just a speed guy? Um, but if you're the Bills, you don't have to leave round one with a wide receiver. If Worthy's sitting there, I say you grab him. But there's receiver depth in this draft that the Bills could do, and they could still take like a Cooper DeJean at 28. We have Cooper DeJean going to the Lions at 29. I feel like Dan Campbell, he'd be doing some cartwheels.
yeah.
I think he would absolutely love that. And then we have the Raiders trading into the first round to take Michael Penix Jr. I could definitely see that late. You get that fifth year
That's
option for
really.
him.
I feel like that's a late trade that we really might see.
Yeah. Penix, he's already 24 or 25. So to me, to grab that fifth year contract by getting him in the first round, I think that really helps with the guy who's already got a few years on him. And he is really, there's a lot of smoke with him in the Raiders, a lot of
Mhm.
smoke. So I'll be really curious to see kind of how that works. We have Tyler Guyton going to the 49ers. I'm not huge on Tyler Guyton. He seems, um, I don't know. There's just something about him I'm not loving. But your Panthers at 33, Casey. How are you feeling
Yeah.
there? Like, what
With
do
the
you think's going
last
to happen?
pick of the first round,
Yes,
um, at 33.
at
Uh, I,
33.
I yeah, I like that there's a lot of good talent on the board. Um, I've heard so much about how much they love Leggett out of South Carolina, who I love
Yeah,
as well.
sure.
He's like a, I don't know. He reminds me of guys like DK Metcalf even.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I think Lad McConkey is probably the most consistent. I
Uh-huh.
think Lad McConkey is not going to fail, and I think he would be an amazing pick here, and it would give Bryce Young some more help so that they can really find out, is this guy any good, or did we just blow our future? So
Yeah.
um, they're gonna take a wide receiver in the second round. It's just a matter, do they do it at 33 or 39? So for the purposes of this, I took Lad McConkey.
I I think you're fine with McConkey or Leggett. I would love to grab Leggett in the second round. After the catch, he can just turn it on. So yeah, you're good either way. Lots of good receivers in this draft. That's what I'm saying with the Bills too. Like you don't have to grab one in the first round. You can fiddle around in the second, still get a really good guy.
Yeah, yeah. So as we're counting down just a few more days, what are the like? Are you going to watch Draft Day or Jerry Maguire? Anything to prepare?
It is tradition to have draft day on in the background while I'm doing other things because there's no reason to put all your focus into that movie. It's not a good movie.
It isn't a good movie, no.
No, but you got to watch it. You got to watch draft day. So, get ready for Thursday. My son actually wants to have a friend over on Friday night to watch day two of the draft. Like that's something he asked for. Um, and after I stopped uncontrollably crying, I said, sure. Uh, it was a very proud moment as a dad for me.
Like, yeah.
So,
So I actually have to be working at the Tennessee baseball game on Friday.
oh no,
So, but we now have YouTube TV, so I'm going to be watching it. I can watch
there
it
you
on my
go.
phone.
Are you going to be
So
in the tent, or are you going to be ready? Yeah.
yeah, so we're in, so they set up and we're actually going to be in the stadium. So
Oh, good.
yeah, in the outfield. I'll be in left field. No.
Yeah, you're playing. Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was actually I wanted to go to one of the Tennessee baseball games, and I was looking at the tickets, and I was like, all right, I think I'm going to go Saturday at 12, and that way I can keep up with like what's going on with like the fourth and fifth rounds while I'm at the baseball game. So that's
Right.
kind of my goal there. But yeah, man, I'm gonna be totally texting you like fake news too, like while you're there, being like, you know, it's gonna happen.
I'm
So
going to be watching. I will be watching on my phone.
we'll see if I can throw you off. It's gonna be a goal.
Not going
Uh,
to happen. Um,
so,
I'm gonna, from in the stadium with Tennessee baseball stuff on. Still, every time we see Roger Goodell, I'm gonna boo.
no, that's fine.
Yeah,
Just try not to do it like right when the national anthem starts. I feel like that would go. Yeah,
boo.
it might hurt your
Right.
position there a little bit.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's the time. It's about to kick us off. I had fun.
Always.
Happy draft week to you. We'll be in touch. And
To you and
I'm
yours.
glad we got to do this.
Absolutely, man.
All right. See you, dude.
All right. See you, buddy.